Okay, so I cleaned up my area here for the next series of videos, and I got a new tripod setup that I came up with for holding the camera, the phone camera, and I've got some things down here I'll explain in a minute. My abo box or bin full of abo stuff, not very primitive, I know. I got a lot of stuff coming up here in the next month or so. I'm a little bit late on these videos, but I've got a bunch of challenge rock down here. 75% of this stuff here is challenge rock that I have not napped yet, that I am going to try out. This is just a box of obsidian here. I need to work on some points for some people with obsidian, but these Ziploc bags are all rock challenge. I went through and found all of the packages that were sent to me. This is just my stuff that I'm going to use for personal items and to test out. A lot of this is heat treated exotic type stuff, mostly Texas agates and Arizona materials, maybe some from Louisiana, maybe some citronelle thrown in there. Anyway, let me get set up here. Okay. Yeah, the battery's going to die here in a minute, so let me put the charger in here. Okay. So, I've got various things here I need to catch up on. One of the things I'm working on is a package for one of my Patreon patrons. And this is what I'm going to send out for January. This is already finished. It's a mulberry handle, heat treated blade, sinew and pitch glue, and various styles of points. I haven't glued these in yet or anything. These two little Toya points. Okay, yeah, this is all going together in the same package out to one of my patrons. Okay, so I'm working on that. I got a question about what hafting material I like to use for my knives, the utility type knives. In one of the latest videos, I show how I was wrapping a knife, and the type of hemp cord that I prefer is something called hemp teak, and it's 20 pound, which is pretty close to the actual amount of weight that it can handle. But the thing that's cool about this particular type is that it's very consistent. Okay, the stuff you buy at Walmart or other department stores, sometimes it's thick and then it gets real thin and then thick again. This is very consistent material. So I had a question about this, and it comes in a lot of different colors, so very handy. All right, something else I've been working on is the Pueblo Flint napping, and I made an Eskimo style pressure flaker to hold pieces of antler that I'm cutting and shaping. These little pieces here. Just to try to figure out how the nappers at Grasshopper Pueblo were using these pieces of antler. Now, I've got some ideas. One is, of course, the Eskimo style pressure flaker. But I'm thinking that many of these were multi-tools or just blanks to be cut into smaller or thinner pieces for like needles and awls and stuff. I don't think that these were used primarily for flint knapping, because these tines work so much better. You know, just by experience, these tines work so much better at producing flakes than these being held in the hand, or even in the even in this here. This takes some time to set up. Okay, where you can just cut off a tine. Now, if you're short on materials, this is very handy, because you take one large antler and you can make a lot of these little slivers. You can cut a lot of these slivers out of the antler and have quite a bit of material for your pressure flakers for a long time. Okay, so that's one advantage of this if you're short on material. Okay, so I'm making various different sizes, and they are shown in different sizes in the books and literature. I'm going to make some smaller diameter pieces, maybe try making some needles or awls out of this antler and see how they work. But one of the things I've been finding that I prefer to use these for is burnishers. And what that means is, with stone tools, you shape this with a piece of stone, you scrape it with a piece of stone, and it leaves a lot of rough, leaves a rough surface with a lot of gouges in it, and it takes a long time to sand it down with a piece of sandstone, or a relatively long time. But I find that you can skip that step. You can just shave it down with a piece of stone and then burnish it with a piece of antler like this to smooth it down instead of sanding it. Now, something hard like antler works well, especially this hard surface here. And I forgot something. It works well if you add some animal fat. Now, this is chicken fat. And I believe bear fat was used quite often, but I find chicken fat works just as well, or even better. It's very light. Anyway, I'm not going to burnish this area, or I'm not going to apply fat to this area or to this area here. This is for a friction fit, and this because I'm going to wrap it with sinew, and the sinew needs to stick with the glue to the wood. But I can burnish this middle part to make it smooth, and it's easier to do it now before all the gluing takes place. And it produces a very smooth surface. Okay, a little bit of animal fat and this particular type of tool, I guess you could say, it works very well for that. Or it could also be used as a pressure flaker too for the points. And then after you're done, you can also use it as a burnisher. And then if it starts getting too small to be comfortable, you can just slice it down and make needles out of it. I think it was used as a multi-tool. I don't think it was dedicated specifically for flint knapping. Okay, that's that. But I'll do more on that later. I also had a request on measuring the flint knapping tools, my abo tools, and I think I've done it before, but I must not be doing a very good job, because I get questions on the size and the weight of these horizontal punches. So let's see, the latest one, can't remember, I guess it was using this one in the horizontal punch video. This is about 18 centimeters or 7 inches. This is about the smallest that I use. Now the weight And I'm going to go with grams on this because the person who asked me, it was from Italy, I believe. $153 grams. Yeah, 153 grams on that one. This one here, 196 grams. Just out of curiosity. This is 54 grams. And this is a hardwood here. This is locust, I believe. Honey locust. Some of these billets. 180 grams. $360. This horizontal punch here with the bit. 191. 192 grams. Sorry, I'm not holding this very steady, but and this little insert here, this bit, let's see, 6.7. Now the way I use this might not be what you're thinking of. I had this wrapped with rawhide before, and even with the rawhide, it developed a crack. I don't know. Looks like I can get pretty close. Anyway, you can see that crack there. I didn't want it to continue. So anyway, what I do is it's got a taper to it. This tapers down, so it fits in nice and tight. Okay, when I got it wrapped. And the way I strike with it is like this. I rest this on the platform. Sometimes I even back it right up into it for heavy strikes. So it's kind of like a notch. Okay, but usually I back off a little bit. I don't put this end on the workpiece and then strike it. I always strike this way. Or I use this as a notch in here sometimes to strike if I need to. But usually it's just on the edge this way when I strike, not on this surface here. And I don't strike. Sometimes I'll do that, but I normally don't use this as this kind of a billet, because there's other billets that are more useful than this. But this allows me to save this or preserve this antler by using interchangeable bits. Anyway, that's stuck in there. Let's see. I'm experimenting with this type of pressure flaker, where it's kind of a vertical driver, where the pressure is right along that here, right in line with this bit. And just out of curiosity, I'm going to weigh this too. 56 grams. Some of the smaller whitetail billets. $109 grams. Just 108. Very similar in weight. And let's see, 13 centimeters or 5 inches. This is about the smallest that I use for the pointed type billets. About 15 centimeters or 6 inches. Now, when these flakers start to wear down, this is 25 centimeters. When they start to wear down, you know, the end used to look Like on this one here, it used to look like this. And they wear down. You can extend them. I've been experimenting with this lately by drilling out the back and inserting a dowel or a stick. Okay. This is 3/8. So I just drilled it out, and I can hold this under my knee. And I can probably wear this down all the way. I don't know how deep that is. Let's see. I can probably wear it down to about there. Just enough room to hit it. Okay. By doing this. So I'm working on this. I kind of sanded this part and constricted this so I could wrap it. So it wouldn't crack or anything, but I think it's unnecessary. And besides, the wrapping kept coming off. I would have to glue the wrapping to the antler, and that just takes extra time. Now, if I find that it does crack, I'll glue some wrapping on there, but all the wrapping I've tried has been coming off, no matter how tight I put it on, because it moves around so much in the grip here. All right, so I can extend the life of my horizontal punches by drilling out the back and putting in a dowel. Okay. And like I said, it should end up being useful until it gets to about that length. Or let's see, 8 centimeters or 3 inches would be probably the smallest I would use. Because if it gets too much smaller, you know, there's not much area to hit. It gets kind of awkward, and it would probably split too easily, especially hitting on that hollow part, because right now I'm hitting it right around in the middle. If I start hitting on that hollow part, I think I'm going to crack it. Anyway, okay. Alright, so these videos I don't think can be too long. The last video took about 20 minutes to upload, which wasn't too bad. So I'm going to cut it off here, and I've got some more napping to do on some Texas style points for a project. Abo napping, so I think I'm going to do those next. Okay, that's it.